Thanks, Cathaoirleach. Minister, I think that, given on a daily basis we're seeing the latest version of the horrors, absolutely horrors being that's coming down on top of Palestinians. The sheer loss of life, the estimates for those who are missing, crushed underneath the buildings, it escalates every day. The bombing of hospitals, schools, clinics, everything, homes, the total destruction of Gaza, the infrastructure, roads, wastewater plants, everything. It's clear that what is the Israeli game plan is here, and the fragmentation and occupation of the West Bank, and the news today in terms of the escalation of that and the expansion of that. It's clear that this is about wiping out not just the Palestinian state, but the Palestinian people. And I would appeal to you to have this bill brought forward as quickly as possible, and to include services in it, because services are estimated to be 70% of trade. There is the international, there's the ICJ ruling. That's clear as far as I'm concerned. I think there's an obligation on us. We must do everything we can. And it may not have a huge effect because of it's a limited amount of trade. But look at what happened when the Dunn Stores workers stopped selling South African fruit. Look what that snowballed into. It brought apartheid down. Or helped to bring it down.
Deputy Tánaiste.
Thanks very much. So I take the point that Deputy Connolly makes around the date on the original bill being 2018, I think. And that is, of course, a statement of fact. I would respectfully make the point back that trade has, for better or worse, and I'm happy to be in the European Union, but trade is an EU competency. And it has been the position of successive governments for quite a period of time that therefore any issues in that bill were a matter to be dealt with at an EU level rather than a member state level. The change, if you like, at least from the government's legal understanding of the change was the ICJ advisory opinion. And I asked in my previous role as Taoiseach, I asked the then Attorney General, who's still the Attorney General, to look again at the ability of a member state to do something in the context of the ICJ advisory opinion, which, as Deputy Murphy reminded nations of their obligation to act in this space. And the Attorney General helpfully and importantly came back and identified, I'm paraphrasing because I don't have the legal advice in front of me, but he identified what I would describe as a narrow way forward. Not a risk-free way forward, we're not looking for a risk-free way forward, by the way, but a narrow way forward to progress legislation. And it was on that basis that, certainly when I entered the general election campaign, and I think when many of us did, it was on that basis that I think every political party in Dáil Éireann or every grouping was committing to enacting legislation in this space. So I take the 2018 point, but I do just want to, on the record of the House, outline why I believe it to be different now, at least legally, than it was in 2018. Deputy Murphy and Deputy Merkel and Deputy Stanley, and I'm quite sure Deputy Connolly, are all asking a very fair question in terms of tell us the legal difference in relation to the goods versus services, and that's a perfectly appropriate question to ask. My understanding, and I'm doing this without the benefit of advice in front of me, but my understanding is that there is a clearer delineation of goods and services at an EU level for a member state to act. However, can I tell you that I intend to seek the updated advice of the Attorney General in relation to that, because I take the point that I heard Deputy Murphy make, I've heard Deputy O'Gorman make it before in relation to the Attorney General advice that's published there. I don't have a policy difference. I mean, I'm doing this with you all, I hope, because we're horrified by the genocide that we're seeing happening, and we want to take an action, and we hope that it inspires and motivates others and helps bring about pressure on Israel to end what's happening in Gaza. But obviously the position that I occupy, we've got to make sure that it's legally robust, and I think we all share that view. So like when I spoke to Senator Black, and again I don't like invoking her name or speaking for her, she'll be able to speak for herself, but when I spoke to Senator Black, I made the point that the position of my department from a legal point of view was that goods was potentially legally permissible, services may not be. And I also said I'm happy to be proven wrong on that. Final thing I would say is, and this is just a different point, but there's a practical implication around services that isn't to the policy space. There's a practical implication to how you'd enforce the services issue rather than the goods issue, but that's also...
Thank you, Tánaiste.
Thank you. The first thing I want to ask the Tánaiste, just my hearing isn't 100%, and just what you said in relation to your conversation, the tail end of that with Senator Black, just if you wouldn't mind, I'm not trying to be awkward, just if you could repeat that again, please, because I wasn't able to pick up correctly what you were saying. But look, at what I would say is in relation, just to my concluding remarks on it, that, that there obviously is different opinions out there, and there's different legal opinion. And as been said earlier, I believe we should put the weight of what's the crisis that's what's happening, and the weight that's on us. There are so many people dependent on us to act. There's so many people dependent on us as a neutral country to act and show example. The Palestinian ambassador will tell you this. Palestinians will tell you this. People out in the street tell me this the whole time. People walking by here tell me. People on the streets down in County Laois tell me this the whole time, that we need to be doing more than what we're doing. And I would just say to you, there's the old saying that doctors differ and patients die. Solicitors and barristers differ, but my God, the level of death and destruction, I think we're all agreed. It's absolutely horrified. I've never seen anything like it.
Thank you,
if you don't mind, Tánaiste, just clarify what you said. And sorry,
thank you.
Just hearing this from Hodge.
Deputy.
As you can imagine, I'll be engaging with the Attorney General as we seek to advance this general scheme. And I suppose that was the point I was making, Deputy Stanley, that obviously I've had the conversations that we had, let's say, in the last government, in terms of was it possible to move forward with an Occupied Territories Bill. I do want to say, and I accept that line Deputy Murphy's quoting is accurate in terms of the political choice piece, but I would also say from being in the briefings with the Attorney General, and indeed hearing the now Taoiseach, when he was in my role, addressing the Foreign Affairs Committee, I mean, it is the clear legal view of the government that the current bill wouldn't have been legally permissible. That is genuinely the legal advice available to the government. Yeah, sorry, no, you're right. I'm sorry, that was an option. You could amend line by line or section by section. And our view was that actually bringing forward a new bill was just a better way of doing it. On the issue of services, I'm open to persuasion on this, because it's not a persuasion that you need to do from a policy point of view. I'm open to persuasion as to is this bill workable. And I'm not afraid of infringement proceedings. There's much more important things going on in the world. But I do want to pass a bill that is robust, is practical, and legally versatile. I can't pass legislation that I believe not to be legal.
No.